Hanya narang Jackson Lai, who si Mauricia Timor, my to Singapore pura 1974。我姓李，名国营，出生在东帝汶，1964年。
Meu nome é Grayson Tenho Martins de Jesus. Eu tenho 19 anos de idade e sou de Timor-Leste. Because it's also known as like fine city, I feel like I need to do everything according to the law.
一个天一个地咯，东帝汶很多东西都不齐全，然后来到新加坡什么东西都有，方便很多。
One water bottle back home costs 25 cents, and here I found one water bottle for $2. So the prices gap is so big.
落脚在新加坡已经50多年了，这个还是第一个家。我父亲带我们过来，1974年的时候，因为他年轻的时候一直有过来在新加坡采购。葡萄牙时代，我父亲是经营有戏院啊，还有 export 一些椰干啊，还有其他的 spices， 也有买一些这个鳄鱼皮啦，都寄过来在新加坡。我父亲早年时候出来新加坡，我们那时候是没有飞机，只有用船，所以他每一次出差最少3个月，所以最后他想，如果他待在新加坡做他的 base 的话呢，这样对我们那边的生意更好。东帝汶都还没有电视，我们只有那个是电台广播有听，然后从来没有看过电视。不过我们那时候有看电影啦，就是说以前的李小龙那些电影啦，我们都有看。
1975年，印度尼西亚以反殖民主义为由入侵东帝汶，战火一触即发。黎国营全家因父亲生意上的规划，才得以躲过一劫。
74年的时候，东帝汶还是挺好的，不过在75年才乱，我父亲也没有说预计到有这样事情会发生。那时候我父亲还买了很多东西过去，然后在码头也被抢了。其实我父亲也没有预到会有这样的事情发生，所以还是大力的。差不多圣诞节的时候进了很多货那时候也就是说在码头全部被抢。
黎国英从10岁就在新加坡生活念书，中学毕业后，他到澳大利亚升学。大学毕业后，他回国接管家族在新加坡贸易公司。1991年结婚。1999年，东帝汶通过公投迈向独立，他毅然放下在新加坡安稳的生活，选择重返家园。
老家我25年没有回去嘛，那么就用了海边的那个路去寻找回我们的家，然后看到了大多数都烧了。我们在逼到我们有3间在那边，2间烧的什么都没有，还有1间是以前是空着，所以那时候没有被烧。就从那边我们慢慢回去，开始订一些 building material， 把其他的烧掉的商店跟家做起来。
如果说黎国营象征着在战乱中离散的上一代，19岁留学生格雷森则代表了东帝汶在和平年代成长的下一代。
My first impression in Singapore is like it's so strict. Timor-Leste is like a noise country where a lot of people socialize and it's so like noisy back home. People always interact with each other every day, every night, and like it's so normal. And rules stuff is not really strict because it's also known as like fine city. Rules in Singapore, so I'm scared to do like even the simplest thing. Perhaps like walking in the grass, or I feel like I need to do everything according to the law. But then after living here for 5 months, I feel like that's something that I think one of the reasons why Singapore can be so advanced because everyone is bound by law and everyone obey the law. So that's something that like I feel like okay, it's understandable. strict, but it comes with a reward as well. So in Timor-Leste, for based on experience, whenever I go hang out with my friends, we usually buy food like wrap. It's like half a rice, chicken, and vegetables inside it, and it only costs 50 cents for a wrap. And in here, the prices are quite big. We usually buy like just like a food like the same as us, like rice, chicken and stuff, and it can cost like $5, $5.50, going to 10 and stuff. So I found like the difference is very big.
So the Timorese community in Singapore is not very many. I can count them on my hands. In the past few decades or so, Singapore has been the port where a lot of our imported goods would arrive from. This is sort of the last port where goods would arrive into Timor.
It is time to officially place the Timor-Leste flag onto the stage, joining the other flags of ASEAN member states.
2025年10月26日，东帝汶正式跻身亚细安，成为第11个成员国。新加坡总理黄循财在社交媒体贴文称，这是多年耐心接触与深思熟虑的结果，并强调新加坡将为东帝汶的融入尽一份力。
There are many areas that we are currently working with Singapore. Now it has been upgraded to enhanced STAR package. So in that program we have leadership skills building. So this program aims to work with our emerging leaders to equip them with the necessary skills in leadership, in management, to be able to lead the country forward. I will share one fun fact. One of our favorite bananas in Timor is actually called the Singapore banana. So we don't know why it came to be called a Singapore banana, and I would imagine that in the long past, this delicious banana would come from boats arriving from Singapore, and people would be expecting those bananas to come, and they ended up, calling it the Singapore banana.
黎国英是新加坡永久居民，纵使拥有东帝汶与澳洲的双重国籍，但在情感与归属上，早已将新加坡视为最重要的家园。
落脚在新加坡已经50多年了，这个还是第一个家，全部孩子都出生在这边，我太太也在这边，母亲也在这边，所以这个是不可以缺少的一个家。对，
黎国英深知国家重建百废待兴，于是他想把在新加坡积累的管理经验与实战做法带回滇利。
我们的产业都没有卖，我们都一直保持，只是为了有一天可以回去再重新发展起来。而且99年之后，我们也回去重建这个国家，这个家园了。我们回去先做贸易，开始起初是进口一些啤酒啦、可乐之类的，大米跟白糖。然后接下来做了这个烟草，然后才做 real estate， 就是说之后才发展做 hotel。
对格雷森来说，越是看见差距，就越要回去。
So I'm doing my best to learn more about psychology because I have a subject about psychology here, which I didn't have back home. Therefore, through the subject that I have, I became more interested and invested in psychology. So I will return back to Timor-Leste as soon as my education is over because there's a lot of things that bound me to there. I have families there. I have cultures. I was born and raised there, so it's like home for me. So I cannot leave my home. I can just go out for a few years and I will go back and then stay there and contribute to my country.